One Piece as a story has always stood out to me for its unapologetic ideas of freedom and love. A story following a boundlessly joyful boy as he builds a family on his voyages. I can't even express how much Luffy as a character brings joy to the world around him. For as much as he does this, however, he is also not afraid to tell someone to their face when the life they are living is destructive to themselves or others. And he takes action to change what he does not like. This is something he shows repeatedly with his crew, and even with one-off side characters. There's one character we see his impact clearly on, and ironically, this character couldn't be more different from him. Halfway through the series, we get introduced to a character who, despite his alliance with the Straw Hats, is the complete opposite of Luffy. A foil to his character. That obviously being Trafalgar Law. Oddly enough, Law wasn't planned to be such an important character from the beginning. In his first introduction, he is very much a fragment of what he ended up being. This is due to the plans of Law's character not being figured out yet by Oda at the time. In Law's first introduction, he is only really shown in a very vague manner, with all that is known about him being that he's apparently some kind of sadistic, snarky doctor with the mysterious ability to pull people apart in a bubble. He is uncooperative and rude, but despite this, nothing more was said of him. It was only after Luffy's severe injuries during Marineford that Law shows a little more of himself. In particular, something where he and Luffy differ completely. Law offers to save Luffy's life. However, he sees this as an act of not kindness, but rather a favor, of which Luffy will hopefully return later. This is in benefit to Law. We are shown immediately that to Law, kindness and cooperation are give and take. If someone wants something from him, they will have to give him something first, and vice versa. We can see this first when he frees Jean Bart, only to then ask for his cooperation as a crew member. We also see this in how he does not like to simply obey someone's request for no reason, which gives the impression that he has some kind of rebellious attitude. Luffy is the inverse of this. As long as you are not harming anyone he cares about, he considers you a friend and will likely go to great lengths to ensure your safety and happiness. He expects nothing in return of this other than simply being his buddy. A good example of this is in Water 7, in the scene where he, along with his crew, all come back to save Robin. Someone who, although kind to the Straw Hats, wasn't exactly someone everyone completely trusted yet due to her moral ambiguity. Despite this, Luffy sees the very act of her kindness to them as a reason enough to go and save her life, even after Robin persists, saying she has no desire to live and no hope for her life. Luffy is still there for her, even actively putting himself in danger for the sake of Robin. All he wants in that scene is for Robin to say what he knows she really wants. That she wants to live and to join them, be part of their family. From first glance, Law's give and take morals compared to Luffy's almost unconditional giving morals make Law look less than good. And admittedly, the ideas Law holds are often very destructive to both himself and others. This becomes a lot more relevant later. When Luffy and Law team up to defeat Doflamingo, the previously mysterious and organized Law now has to adapt to the way Luffy works, which is essentially, as long as you don't stop me from being free and don't make my friends or crew unhappy, you're fine. And therefore he shows relentless kindness towards Law. Law, of course, absolutely hates this at first, because the very idea of someone being kind to him without expectations of him giving them something is alien, and it proves his own ideals wrong. Law has all of these expectations that if he deserves any kind of kindness, that's from something he has done for someone. And as we progress into Dressrosa and finally face Doflamingo, we kind of see why he thinks this. These ideals come from the fact that Law was taken in and raised for 3 years by Doflamingo, after his own family and entire town were essentially vaporized. Doflamingo spent 3 years specifically raising Law with these ideas of heartlessness. The idea that if Law made his own rules and let his own lust for violence consume him, he could become just like Doflamingo. This taught Law an unconscious lesson. Doflamingo and the family Doflamingo created didn't want somebody that couldn't give them something. There was always going to be a reason for Law being admired so much by Doflamingo. That care was flimsy and easily fleeting, especially after Law, with the help of the selfless Marine Corazon, grows out of the spiral of hatred and violence Doflamingo instilled in him. Law learns from his experiences with Doflamingo that generosity and doing something in another's favor is always give and take. If someone offers him kindness, he must fulfill their wish now. Corazon, however, was not like this. He broke down the mess that was Law and built him up with love that came from a pure desire to see Law happy. That is until Doflamingo killed Corazon, once again crushing Law's hope of being able to live through the joy of others. Because of this experience, Law decides that he must dedicate his life to Corazon, sacrificing anything else to be able to try and repay Corazon by killing Doflamingo, not realizing that this is the same pattern Doflamingo taught him. Law believes he owes Corazon something, that there was a reason for Corazon loving him. This learning process of being able to accept that love seems to come back with Luffy. Until now, when Law is shown to have value or love for people, such as his crew, he still uses the idea of give and take in a relationship. He is shown repeatedly to repay them for their love through doing utterly everything he can to keep them safe, constantly putting himself in harm's way, thinking it'll make him deserving of the love he receives. Around this point in the story, though, Law learns a lesson. During the final battle in Dressrosa, Law gets his ass handed to him by Doflamingo, and at that point, he's essentially just run out of options. Luffy's helped him out, but surely Luffy has absolutely no reason to put himself in danger for somebody who has nothing to offer him. Law is absolutely alone in this fight. No, wrong, never mind. Luffy absolutely has Traffy's back and combusts Doflamingo, because friends are cool like that. Luffy just baffles Law with unconditional support. It's something that has been almost entirely absent from Law's life until now and seems to be something he doesn't even fully understand himself. He's spent his life trying to repay Corazon, saying that Corazon's actions will be worth it after he can repay him, but this leads him nowhere. His own sense of freedom and his own goals are lost in this guilt of needing to repay an act of love. Law's scene with Sengoku wraps up his development in Dressrosa in a way that I can only describe as bittersweet. Sengoku explains to Law his father-like relationship he had with Corazon, a relationship that is rather reflective of Law's own relationship with Corazon. Law explains his thought process to Sengoku, again with this clear idea of repayment being emphasized. And finally, he gets an answer.
助けたわけじゃない。受けた愛に理由などつけるな!
If you like these kinds of video essays, please consider subscribing to my channel or checking out my Instagram to see my other projects. Thank you for watching.